Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we're talking the fall of a legend, with the rumoured death of Commissar Yarrick. No real need for a spoiler warning today, as we're just talking the latest news and speculations, so let's waste no time and jump straight in. Now yesterday, I'll admit to a bit of a surprise. Having a browse through Instagram as I was watching an episode of Deep Space Nine, the best Star Trek series ever by the way, and I started seeing a bunch of Commissar Yarrick being dead memes. So immediately I checked the Warhammer community website, and lo and behold, what did I see? A post revealing the possible fate of our beloved Commissar. Now I'm sure most of you know already, but for those that don't, essentially the post is stating within the upcoming Astra Militarum Codex, the Bell of Lost Souls has tolled for the fallen Commissar Yarrick, one of the greatest heroes the Imperium, let alone the Guard, has ever seen. And well, there appears to be no small amount of mystery at play here, with the reason for Yarrick's death not exactly known, or at least stated. Now the page we're shown from the Astra Militarum Codex covers the legendary heroics of the man, the first two wars of Armageddon, conveniently leaving out Chaos of course, telling us Yarrick was once more called to perform his duty, which apparently became his last. Know you all that the God Emperor in his infinite and manifest wisdom has decreed at last, may his loyal servant lay down his physical weapons, for such mundane duties are beyond him. The Bell of Lost Souls has tolled, Yarrick is dead. Now before we start talking theories, I'm going to say, as much as I was hoping for a new Yarrick model, I'm not actually too surprised by this. We saw the new Ursula Creed model revealed quite a while back now, and then the new Lord Solar Leontus himself. So Yarrick was always going to be in their shadow this time around. Now this twist is actually very intriguing, and I'll admit killing him off screen would be a surprise. You'd expect it to be a major event, so I completely get why the question is being asked and made very clear. Is he really dead? Now the Warhammer community article prompts that very question, asking if Yarrick has simply lost the battle of time, being an old man already in the days of the first war for Armageddon, or if he finally lost to his arch-nemesis the Orc warlord Gazkul Fracker, or for me most importantly, if he has lost to the returned demon Primarch Angron. The Blood Crusade of Angron has hit Armageddon, and it makes a note of pointing out one of the skulls around Angron's neck has a particular bionic eye, reminiscent of Yarrick himself. And I'll be honest here, that is something I had never noticed before, so I give absolute props for the tease right there. The death of Commissar Yarrick could have well been in front of our noses for months. So what's happened? What's going to happen? For me, when I think about the possible fate of Yarrick, there's a couple of ways I see this all playing out. Firstly, and the most likely scenario in my mind, is, as I said, I'm not overly surprised to see him stepping into the background with the emergence of the new characters. Maybe I'm old school, but Yarrick was always the face of the Guard for me. And that's a role that really needs to be filled now by the new Lord Solar, who gives the Militarum their own character on a level with the other factions, such as Morven Val of the Sisterhood, a commander of prodigious power. If you want this guy to take the spotlight, it makes sense for Yarrick to bow out gracefully. I'm not saying I like it, as Yarrick's a beloved character for me, but I can understand it. And so for that reasoning, I can see Yarrick really being gone, his fate simply being kept hinted at or mysterious, and then if wanted he can be returned in an edition or two, with a brand spanking new model, simply retconning the death to an incorrect report. It could simply be left off screen entirely, something we will never see the answers to, unless he returns. Maybe we'll get a novel leaving his fate on a cliffhanger, or possibly in the upcoming Ark of Omens campaign. Either way, I do think that is very possible. Commissar Yarrick is simply gone. Secondly, I've long thought and discussed on the channel how Angron's return is going to be a major deal, and it appears Armageddon is, as thought, going to be involved somehow. Maybe not a campaign in its own right as I was hoping, with the unveiling of the Ark of Omens coming up, but still something important. And Yarrick is Armageddon. The two are forever intertwined like bread and butter, milk and cereal, Rogel and Perturabo. You just don't have one without the other. I hear you with Gazkul, but it does seem like the big orc has moved on over recent years. His last big appearance was against Ragnar Blackmane, not Yarrick, and that saw him bumped up to Primarch size, and elevated lore-wise to be a nigh-on returned beast level threat. I can't help feeling like Gaz has left Yarrick behind. Gazkul is supposed to be a galaxy level threat now, not a system one. So that just leaves Yarrick with Armageddon. Angron and Armageddon are clearly going to play a big role in the coming months. In my opinion, it's either going to kick off the Ark of Omens campaign, leading directly into it, or be involved in it at some point. And if we are going to see Yarrick's fate, even if it is left on a is he, isn't he situation, then surely it will be upon Armageddon. Angron is a big deal. The Imperium doesn't have Sanguinius to, well, you know. And it took an entire Brotherhood of Grey Knights to remove him last time, which is something the Imperium can't afford to lose now, given the state of the galaxy. This guy is going to unleash absolute carnage. Armageddon could well become a demon world. If Yarrick is going to go, there is no way more heroic than standing before the demon Primarch. Angron taking out a major hero of the Imperium adds that level of threat and tragedy to his return, and Yarrick going down fighting against Angron, of all the demon Primarchs, is about as heroic as you can get. If he's going to go, that's about as good as it can get. And it does make sense considering the fate of Yarrick has been left so vague. In lore, knowledge of chaos is kept hidden, so they wouldn't say he fell fighting the forces of chaos. Yes, they could have said Xenos like they often do, but hey, if we're going to see it and it's not Xenos, well then it wouldn't make much sense to say it was. And out of the lore, we haven't seen Angron's return yet either, so unveiling it in a codex before Angron himself has dropped would be the ultimate anticlimax. If we are going to see Yarrick fall, my money's on Angron at Armageddon. Not because the skull with the eye, but simply because it makes the most sense. The third possibility is we'll get a triumphant return during the Ark of Omens campaign. A brand spanking new Yarrick model. Now, this one is definitely the least likely for my mind. The Ark of Omens for me is probably going to follow a similar format to the Psychic Awakening, which ended the previous edition. An overarching narrative with a big release or two in each chapter, before ending in the climax to set off the next edition. Which, let's be honest, we're all hoping, despite the unlikelihood of it, is going to be Lionel Johnson. If the campaign does follow the same format, there's no reason Yarrick couldn't be one of the new models. Heck, even if he does die, there's no reason he couldn't go out with a shiny new model either. I can't think of many other Militarum characters who could get one if Armageddon is involved, unless it's another new character. Now, yes, dropping Yarrick after he's not in the Codex is unlikely. However, the campaign would have the rules for him as usual. Yarrick's last stand or something along those lines. Again, like I said, I do think this is probably the least likely scenario. And I say that because I think there's a good likelihood he's simply gone for an edition or two. But hey, a Yarrick model within the edition ending campaign, hey, you can't rule it out. Whatever the outcome, one thing is for sure. Alive or dead, this will surely not be the last we have seen of the hero of Armageddon. Even if it is for years. But as always everyone, what do you think? Is Yarrick gone? Is this just a tease? Or seeing as it is within the Astra Militarum Codex, do you feel like me it could be more permanent? Maybe meaning Yarrick will be gone for at least an edition or two. Will we see the fate of Yarrick? Will it involve Angron? Will it be upon the world of Armageddon? As always, leave your thoughts in the comments below, I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. With that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.